Hi there. I'm Erin Jean with Erin Jean Coaching. And today I'm so excited. It is my first official day of my signature show called The Business of Inner Peace. The content here will be, you guessed it, all around finding inner peace in all areas of your life. So, today's show is all about how I learned to show up for myself in my unhealthy relationship. You see, unhealthy relationships, they actually wreak havoc on your soul and your physical body. And I want to invite you right now to think about how an unhealthy relationship, or maybe even just a toxic interaction with someone else, has affected you and your heart and your mind and your soul. Usually we can all relate to having that elevated heart rate or maybe sweaty palms or a flushed face and feeling like we just got punched in the stomach, right? That I don't feel good in my gut. Those are just a few of the symptoms. And if you feel lost or alone in your relationship, if you feel like you're walking on eggshells, if you want to um, if you wish you could just tell people about your relationship and what's really going on, but you find yourself afraid to share with anyone the truth of what's going on inside of your relationship or your marriage, I want to share with you the first steps that I took. So, the first step that I took was really I began to understand what emotional and verbal abuse was and what it really looked like. And one of the tools that helped me do this was the wheel of emotional abuse and the wheel of verbal abuse. So, step one, I want to encourage you, just go Google it. Google the verbal abuse wheel. Google the emotional abuse wheel, and it might help you to actually see a pattern that exists in your relationship that you were unable to see before. So, speaking of patterns and programming, it's really important to know that your subconscious mind is programmed from in utero all the way to age 8. And these programs are running over 90% of your choices each and every day. And it's especially important to note that when you get triggered by hurtful words or by an argument, it activates what's called the primal brain. And the primal brain lives in the subconscious mind, and it's designed for keeping us alive. And this is where our fight, flight, or freeze mode lives. It lives in the primal brain. And when the primal brain is activated, you cannot use the frontal cortex of your brain. And this is so important to know because in the frontal cortex, this is where we have logic, this is where we have decision making, this is where we have the analytics. And your brain, it actually needs 45 minutes to just clear out and release all of those hormones that come from the primal brain being activated, things like cortisol from stress and adrenaline, right? So once those hormones have left your brain, you can actually get access again to the frontal cortex and you can start to make good, sound decisions. So, one of the ways that I love to speed up this process is by accessing the subconscious mind and soothing our central nervous system. My favorite way to do it is with EFT, otherwise known as tapping. I happen to have a free meditation with a tapping meditation specifically that is meant to be used after an argument. If you want to access that meditation, just click the link below in the comments or the show notes, and it'll bring you right over to it. So now, once I realized what was going on in my own relationship, I needed to begin to understand why I had allowed all of this to happen in my life. I really went on a quest to love myself. I identified that that was one of the number one problems, was that I did not love myself. And on this quest, not only did I find my own soul to be extremely valuable, which, newsflash, we all are, but I started to learn about neuroscience and understanding the brain and the inner workings of our subconscious mind. It became particularly meaningful to me. And I began to work diligently to understand my own subconscious programming and work to rewire it. And because of these amazing tools, I have been able to heal my PTSD and support myself through emotional triggers in a way that honestly was just never possible in the past. So rather than waiting for someone else to come along and save me, I just, oh, sorry, I'm looking at my notes and I think that we skipped a spot. Yes, and I'll get there to someone else saving you. But it did, with in relation to those emotional triggers, it used to take weeks for me to recover from triggers and fights and panic attacks. And now I've completely eliminated the panic attacks, and I can get myself through a trigger and I can recover in less than an hour. And many things actually that used to trigger me, they don't even trigger me at all anymore. So the way that I got there was by acknowledging that these things were actually happening in my life. And I began to declare that I was no longer a victim. And I took radical responsibility for saving myself. And this is where I was talking about, rather than waiting for someone else to come along and save me. And I think that that's huge, because I spent years and years and years waiting for someone to save me. So I want to encourage you today to start to look for possible subconscious programs that are ruling your life. And I know that that last part can be a little bit tricky on your own. So if you'd like help with that one, this is actually what I do. I'm a subconscious healing coach, and I offer a free discovery call with me where you can actually discover, why it is that you're wired to keep these unhealthy patterns going and how to rewire them. And I'll show you how to stop feeling like you're walking on eggshells in your own home and get back to a place of peace. Again, it's completely free, and the link will be in the comments below with the show notes. So to wrap this up, emotional and verbal abuse are real, and they are detrimental to your body, mind, and soul. And if you are in an abusive situation, I want you to know that I see you. I want you to know that you're going to get through it, because I've lived it and I've made it to the other side. And I want you to know that you are so loved. So recognizing the patterns of abuse, as well as the subconscious programming that's at play, it's the key to freedom. And moving away again from that victim mentality and beginning to care for your body, mind, and soul in a way that actually calms your nervous system is really key. So one of the greatest honors of my life is getting to do this work and walk alongside women on this powerful journey of healing. I am absolutely here for it, and I want you to reach out anytime for support. So remember, you are seen, you are known, and you are loved. May God richly bless you today. All my love, Erin Jean.